Hi, this is Chief Education Officer Bill Olsen, and welcome to another school district update. It seems hard to believe, but we're already into the 6th month of the school year. This particular program is being filmed in February, and we only have 4 months remaining. And at this point in the school year, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank all of you in the community who have taken the time to volunteer in some capacity in our schools. Some of you come in to volunteer in classrooms, in the library. Some of you volunteer to go on field trips with our students, which is an enriching activity, and please know how much we appreciate that very much. I have a special guest with me today who I'll be introducing to you in just a few minutes, right after I cover a few particular announcements at this point in time. We are approaching the time of the year where students will be applying for scholarships at Merrimack High School. I want to make you aware of one of the scholarships that we are familiar with that emanates from the Rotary Club of Merrimack. It's a very interesting scholarship. It's a Rotary Club of Merrimack Applied Technology Scholarship. There's one scholarship in the amount of $3,000. And the description of the scholarship is, this scholarship will be awarded to a graduating senior who intends to become an electrician, a lineman, a plumber, an HVAC specialist, a chef, a dental hygienist, a certified nursing assistant, cosmetologist, auto technician, and attend a community college and or seek certification. So it's a wonderful opportunity for anyone who is seeking to enter a trade. The importance of that is, about 8 years ago, the Massachusetts Business Alliance for Education did a study and did research involving about 300 major employers. Of those 300 major employers, 65% of them responded that they were looking for students, young adults, with skills in the vocational trades. And so I would encourage you to speak with your child if they are so inclined, and perhaps apply for the Rotary Scholarship. And we thank the Rotary Club. They are always great partners with our school district. I want to congratulate high school teacher Caroline Masterson for being nominated as a New Hampshire Teacher of the Year. There is a long process to go through. We don't know where Caroline will finish up, but congratulations. That speaks volumes about the respect that other colleagues have for her, and I congratulate her. We want to mention again, I mentioned this at the most recent school board meeting, that we will be sending about 20 students from Merrimack Middle School to the New Hampshire Music Educators Association's Solo and Ensemble Festival. That will take place on Saturday, February 11th. And we congratulate those students who have taken the initiative to want to participate in that solo and ensemble competition. It's quite rigorous, and we are very, very proud of the 20 students who will be participating in that competition. Congratulations to all of our school community and greater Merrimack community members who contributed gift cards to help the family of Xander Venedam. As you recall, Xander was the student from Merrimack High School who tragically was killed in an auto accident several weeks ago. The community, both school and greater Merrimack community, have contributed over $5,000 in gift cards to help the family. So we're very, very proud of all of you for doing that. It is a great, great community effort. From the middle school also, from Adam Carragher, principal of Merrimack Middle School, I want to thank the high school guidance counselors for conducting an 8th grade conversations, beginning the 8th grade to 9th grade transition, which is always a big transition, with the students. And this upcoming Monday evening, February 13th, the counselors will be meeting with the parents of 8th grade students. So there's always something of interest going on in our school district. I want to mention something also. I'm going to refer to my phone for 1 second because I have the information on the phone. And that is an upcoming this February 11th from 7 to 10 p.m., sponsored by the Merrimack High School class of 2024, a Valentine's Day Sweetheart Dance. Tickets are $14, and part of the proceeds will be donated to benefit a grandchild of one of our assistant principals at the high school who is receiving some very serious medical attention at the present time. So it looks to be a great time for our students and a great benefit to the high school, but also to the grandchild of high school assistant principal Jill Hanlon. So my special guest today is very special, one of the finest people I've ever worked with in this field, and I've been at it a long time. I'd like to introduce to you Amy Doyle. Amy is our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum, Instruction, Professional Development, Assessment, just about everything, and is on roller skates at all times. And I want to welcome you, Amy. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks for inviting me to join you today.
Yeah. One of the things I always like to do is have a person maybe speak for a couple of minutes about where you've been, what you've done in preparation for coming to this job in Merrimack.
Well, I'm originally from southwestern Pennsylvania, in a small little coal mining town in the lower corner of the state. I graduated from part of the university system with a degree in elementary and special education. Got my first job in education here in the Granite State, where I taught at the Bow Memorial School for 18 years. And while I was there, that's a middle school, I taught mostly math in grades 5 through 8, but I was also a special education teacher, case manager, and learning disabilities specialist. And then right around June of 2016, I took the leap into administration, and I was a building administrator in Hopkinton during that time before I was lucky enough to join you here in Merrimack. I'm really excited to be here. During my short time here, you can tell that Merrimack is a really special place, and the community, the teachers, the students, the families have just been so welcoming to me. So thank you all.
Yeah, it is a very special place. This is only my second year here after many years in Massachusetts, but it is an absolutely wonderful community. Lots of very sincere people, community members who are always willing to help out. A great staff here, and I know between you and I and others on the leadership team and the staff, trying to make some very good improvements to the school district. So if you want to inform everyone of some of the things that you're working on in the school district, because I know, I can tell you, Amy does not stop. She is moving from 8 o'clock in the morning until after 4:30 in the afternoon, and meeting after meeting and conversation after conversation, but all to the benefit of students and staff. So
I think one of the things that has been so wonderful in joining the Merrimack team is that folks here really do want to improve the education. We really are looking at continual improvement. And early on, when we looked at the achievement scores, not necessarily just the SAS or our state assessments, but other tools that we use to monitor student progress, we had some real concerns about our phonics acquisition at the lower elementary level. You may know that phonics is that, the granular level of being able to identify a sound, identify a letter, and make those connections, and then be able to systematically read words, not just guess at what they are, or use a cueing system or some other arbitrary way. It's really about teaching students to explicitly read. And I feel very fortunate to have joined the language arts coordinators here in the district that are also very committed to literacy. And we went through the process of looking at the really gold standard phonics programs that are available right now, and landed on a program called Foundations, which is a Wilson program. And we're working on the implementation of that for this school year. I know that may seem to do something in February or March, but what we're really looking to do is to provide very high quality professional development, give teachers the materials, have them working with students so that in the fall we can not delay the intervention of that really important work. I would say that the second really important initiative that I've been working on is looking at our assessment tools to make sure that they are giving us the information that we want or need to be able to develop responsive instruction. And we're going to be moving away from the STAR, which is a test that we've been giving for many years. still a solid assessment, but what we're hoping that a new tool will do is to provide us with an opportunity to provide students with an individualized learning pathway. And so there is a resource called iReady, which is used in lots of districts close to us, and those that are also looking to address gaps in learning, whether it's brought on by the COVID pandemic or to be able to provide intervention. With that tool, you can get a lot of really important information about students so that you can provide small group instruction as well as an individualized learning pathway directly through the tool. So those are the two things that I've been working on, I think primarily. Looking to next year, we're also looking to just simply update our math program. We've had envisions for the last 6 or 7 years, and really looking to move to the most updated the most updated version of that program. Similarly at the middle school, looking to update big ideas, and then being able to look and see, are these new tools, the ones that the companies have been working on, are they going to meet our needs? So that's really what I've been working on, meeting a lot of people. As I mentioned, folks here are really welcoming, and they want to be able to look to create new pathways for students and to make sure that we're teaching to the future.
Wonderful. Curriculum should never be static for a long period of time, and I know we're particularly encouraged at the aggressiveness with which you're pursuing renewing our curriculum at pretty much all levels, certainly doing it on a priority basis. One of the things that I know you and I are advocating strongly for also that will be new in the 23-24 budget is some reading interventionists at the early elementary level. That's a service, and I'll have you talk to that if you will. That's a service that is a very important service to students between the general education classroom and special education. So from your perspective, I know that you're very much in favor of it, and what do you hope that service brings to our students, particularly in the K-4 level?
Yeah, I think one of the things that we've been talking about are what are, as two fairly new people to the district, looking at the resources that we have and how are we maximizing them. And a gap that we've noticed is that a student moving from what we would call our core program, so your student is with their classroom teacher doing the literacy curriculum, and their movement to how do they get the additional practice or additional instruction that they need to move towards mastery. And there is a gap we have here between what we call Tier 1 and core instruction and Tier 3, which would be a referral to special education. And what we've noticed is that when you don't have an interventionist serving that population, more and more students get referred to special education because their gap in what is expected of them in the classroom just continues to grow without that intervention. A lot of students can have a short-term, intense intervention with a skilled practitioner and to be able to close that gap so that they can go back to the regular classroom. Yes, there is always going to be a percentage of our students that need special education services, but what we're hoping to do with these new positions is to equip schools to be able to intervene sooner, to be able to fill those gaps more intentionally, and hopefully not lead to students being referred or found eligible for special ed. And as you've said at multiple board meetings, keeping students in the regular ed setting is a priority, because when you move them out, not only is it more costly to educate them, but it also takes them away from what's happening in the classroom.
Right.
And we know that we want students with their classroom teacher in their learning communities, and that is a real priority for us. So should that pass the budget and have the support of the voters, we really feel like that'll maximize the benefit to students directly.
Wonderful. I think that those positions are going to pay big dividends to students. I know in my former place of employment, my former school system, I think that was the key discerning service that allowed us to excel academically in that particular school system compared to some others. Because some of them would ask, what is your school district doing that allows you to have such good academic results? And I would always ask a question in return saying, do you have early intervention services? And many of them did not. And that was in large part because of the revenue-raising limitations that we faced in Massachusetts under what was known as Proposition 2.5. It was a revenue-raising limiting statute. In New Hampshire, as you mentioned, one of the things I've been very impressed with is the array of services that is available for students, and the excellent staff that we have working in them. And I know, kind of shift gears a little bit from the early elementary to the high school, one of the things that we are doing, and I know you're very much in favor of also, is we are hiring a director of alternative pathways to graduation. That person will also be responsible for developing quality extended learning opportunities for all students at starting at the high school in particular. You know, when we first started here, both Amy and I've got a little bit longer term here, just like a year and a half now. One of the things that we have both noticed is there was not an alternative program at the high school for maybe 30 to 40 students for whom a traditional comprehensive high school curriculum may not be the most well suited. And so we're looking at ways to sort of custom tailor a high school education to those 30 or 40 students. And looking forward to you contributing greatly to giving us the insight in terms of what we need to do at that level also to provide services in math and science, English language arts and history, and perhaps some of the unified arts for students who may not be quite as engaged as others. And
I'm really excited about that new position, and I know that we're moving forward with a candidate that I think is just going to be outstanding. What I'm excited about is that one of the things that we learned, I think, during the pandemic, which we never want to have that happen again, but that you can be flexible in where learning happens and how students gain the information that they need to be competent in a particular subject area. And what this person, I think, can do is to look at all of the resources that are available and to be able to create a pathway to graduation, because we also know that a high school diploma is a golden ticket for all students. You need a high school diploma to be in the military, to a lot of jobs now, even if they're entering the trades, you need to have some kind of high school equivalency, and we want to be able to give students lots of options that match the kind of life that they want to build for themselves. And we do have the resources here in Merrimack and the people that can work directly with students to hear what is it that you're interested in. Here are the requirements. Here are some creative and innovative ways that you can meet those requirements, because we want students to be successful. And I'm really excited about that person coming in, expanding our extended learning opportunities within the community. Just really a lot of potential there. And working closely with the high school administration staff, who Mr. Steve Clare and Rich Ampieri and Joe Hanlon, they're also very excited about this position.
Now, in terms of our ELOs, our extended learning opportunities, we're not only looking to look to the future for wonderful opportunities for students to learn, but looking to the past too. We want to very much involve the Merrimack Historical Society in terms of our ELOs to make sure that students learn about the heritage of Merrimack, the history, and the deep and rich history of this great town. And so we'll be working with the leaders of the Historical Society and making sure that our students are included in the ELOs with that organization. Finally, I know that you have been very much involved with the development of our strategic plan, and we are moving forward with that. You and I have been interviewing some facilitators to work along with us, because it's always good to have an outside perspective and someone providing momentum to us to keep us moving forward. You're going to be making a presentation to the school board shortly on a vision of a learner and our strategic plan process, correct?
Yeah, I think before I came on board, the community started that work, and so I was lucky enough to sort of come in at the tail end and be able to develop the final graphics and the visuals that go along with that. And we're excited to bring that to the school board and the community so that we can look at all of the good work that committee did. They brought in surveys, there were interviews. Some of the people watching the show may have been part of those groups. We talk to parents and teachers and students, administrators, just to get a sense of, what are our hopes for students as they go from kindergarten through 12th grade. And that will, as you mentioned, move strategically into the planning of what we want for Merrimack in the future. We've been talking, as you mentioned, to different organizations that can help us along the way. We're really trying to find someone, a group that's a good fit for where Merrimack is, and to be able to help us make those next steps forward.
I hope that in the last few minutes you've come to realize how much we value Amy and how important she is to the Merrimack School District team. She is extraordinarily skilled, extraordinarily fluent, and a wonderful, wonderful co-worker. So thank you very much.
Thank you. You're making me blush on TV, so thank you very much.
Thank you for joining me. Look forward to seeing you next time. Bill Olsen, I'll see you again.